So you have to experience it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's important. And like making music too. Like I've been reading a lot of books. You know, I'll have my cell phone and I'll have a book next to the cell phone and I'll go try to pick up the cell phone and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Pick up the book. Pick up the book. And then when I'll pick up the book, I'll just boast like recently I've read Hemingway from Where the Bell Tolls. Have you read that one about the Spanish Civil War? It's really good. Dostoevsky, The Demons. I read that. The Great Gatsby from Scott Fitzgerald. All the classics. So you're going online and just doing the social media. You might be aware of like operative conditioning, the Skinner box, you know about that, where the rat keeps going back for stimulation. So then I was binging on the internet, and I didn't feel very good. And I went and I picked up my accordion and I played it for about half an hour. And I put the accordion down, and I felt really good afterwards. Or if you play guitar or whatever, it's just way better for you. So this internet stuff is like, it's a great tool. It's great to stay connected with people, but it's just like, I went online the first time in 1992. Yeah, and it was Usenet, and I still remember my email, Krist at igc.org, and Institute of Global Communications. So that's, you know, I've been online for a long time. People would flame me, and I would get upset. Now I just don't care anymore. I've just been flamed so many times. I guess a million times bitten, twice shy. I would never, not shy at all anymore. But so this is a Cascade Party convention, and we're getting signatures to qualify a new party in Washington State. So if you're a registered voter in Washington State, please consider signing. So because to be a new party in the state, you have to collect the ballot, 1,000 ballot signatures from May 4th to July 27th. That date ring the bell. Once every 4 years. So we started the party in March of 2024, and we're like, hey, if we want to have the same access to the same rules as Republicans and Democrats, we need to start this, get these signatures. And so I'm the chair of the party, and I was foolish enough to be nominated as presidential candidate. So that's part of the rules. Like you have to stand a presidential candidate. And I'm so sick of explaining these rules. I've been doing it for the last couple months now to people on a case-by-case basis. Like, what are they're confounding. It's nonsense. Who would want to be nominated to a party that's running for president only in one state, right? It's bonkers. So it was about April, we wrote a letter to the state saying, hey, these rules suck. Let's change the rules. Because they're rules, they're not laws. There are some laws regarding it. There's rules too. There's some latitude there. And we got a letter back from the state saying, okay, we official response saying we consider this a petition for a rule change, and we're going to start that process. So the process is, it's going to be like this fall, winter maybe, public hearings, those kind of things, to have better rules to qualify as a minor party with fundraising. Because it's reasonable to that you just can't have somebody starts a party and they just have a soft money conduit or a conduit around these rules, right? So it should be reasonable for that you need to demonstrate some kind of support, demonstrate that, yeah, we are a bona fide party, which means a party in good faith. And we're not against that, we're just saying hitching your rules to the presidential ballot is not a good way to do it. So that's what we're doing with Forward Party. I keep saying I'm so tired. I was at Forward Party with the Cascade Party. Oh, I'm such a creature of habit. The Cascade Party. Edit your video that way, please. And I was talking about social media before, And so with Cascade Party, we have like our own social media. We found this open source app, and we have it on our own. We have rented server space. And so if you go to our website and you go to the hub, the Cascade Party hub, and you can join our social media. Like, it looks like Facebook, it acts like Facebook, but it's not. We control it, all the members on there. So it's about empowering people. We don't track people. We don't track our users. We don't sell them to advertisers. You're not going to go. You're not going to go online and see something that you already bought and it's being sold to you again, right? So you're being tracked, and we don't collude with the government. So I could be self-indulgent here and just complain about the media, social media, and like, I've heard it all and I've probably said it all, and I'm just, again, I already wasted 15 minutes of your time between 5 o'clock and 5:15. So why not do something constructive and say, hey, we just made our own media. If you think the media sucks, then just leave them behind, right? So every minute that somebody spends on Cascades, our hub, is 1 minute less on Facebook or another one. So see how we're doing something there. It's like picking up the book instead of picking up just the Skinner box, right? So we're doing that, and it's demonstrating to people, a demonstration, and not like a demonstration with signs and bullhorns and that, which is a good. Sometimes people need to get things off their chest, but this is like a demonstration of the possibilities for political association, for parties. It's just like we don't need to have these massive national parties that are these billion-dollar soft money conduits. We can just make our own way. And like, you might not agree with the Cascade Party, but you can start your own party because you saw what we're doing, and you're just going to apply it to your group and whatever your needs and values are. So it's just another thing we're doing there. It's a demonstration of what's possible. And being in here in hot poop today, it really brings me back, because it was in the 1980s. We were youth. We were looking for other youth with shared needs and values, and we would go to places like this and record stores, and we would get lost in the bins, and we would discover music, and we would connect with music. We would connect with each other, and then we weren't connecting with the radio. We weren't connecting with MTV. We weren't connecting with the music magazines and the music press. So we made our own. You remember, like back then, this is before the internet, there'd be somebody in the community, they would cut and paste pictures, type things, and then they'd go and they'd make Xerox copies of it. It'd be a fanzine. And they'd either give them away or sell them for $1 or 50 cents or whatever. But it's just making your own way, right? If you're a musician and you make music, you make your own music because you like to make your own music. It makes you feel good. It's healthy. It's to express yourself. It keeps your mind clear. It's really good stuff. And so that's the whole idea. So I'm a creature of habit, right? I'm used to participating with like-minded people, just trying to accomplish something and just do things differently and say, hey, this mainstream stuff sucks. I saw Black Flag play in Walla Walla in 1984. Whoa. Right. They played here, and we drove from Aberdeen because we knew they were going to play in Seattle. But like all the Seattle hipsters were going to be there, like, no, let's go see them in Walla Walla because it's going to be different and special. So that's what Black Flag did in 1984. They took it to the people. They played like off the beaten path in Iowa. They went to all of these and they brought the message of like punk rock music to people. And it was an amazing show. And there's that there's that lyric by Henry Rollins on that Black Flag song, living in the mainstream is such a lame dream, right? Which a lot of mainstream stuff is cool, and we need to have our institutions, and we need to have safe, healthy societies, but there's a lot of things that we can challenge things in a responsible, healthy way, and make our own way, and try to get some kind of satisfaction out of it. So that's what we're trying to do with the Cascade party. And where else can I go with this? Because I know it's been like 15 minutes. You know, Fidel Castro, he would speak for like 3.5 hours. Did you imagine that? I'm no Fidel Castro. Listening. Anyway, yeah, so we're playing the show tonight, and we're getting signatures, but the show that's the other part of the convention, and that's going to be all rock and no talk. So that's the whole idea. That's why we had this separate event, is to just like people willing to just, you know, don't want to be overbearing with politics, don't want to, we're certainly not crusading, right? I mean, so that's the difference between meaningful work and crusading. It's like you try to do the best you can and try to bring people along and work with other people, and then have like a chai or a coffee or a beer or something in the meantime, and try to have as much fun as possible, right? You see a lot of crusading out there, and I see it too. And I can spot it. So, I'd be happy to entertain some questions.
Questions?
Does anyone have a question? Yes.
Do you know Hiro Yamamoto?
I know Hiro Yamamoto. Hiro Yamamoto was the first bass player in Soundgarden. And I saw Soundgarden in 1986, their first show, one of their first shows. And Chris Cornell was on drums. And he was singing. He had remember that band Flock of Seagulls? He had this like new wave haircut. And Kim didn't have a beard. Yeah, and then I was invited to this event called the Asian Hall of Fame, and to participate and do some music. And I'm like, why are you inviting this Croatian guy? Let's invite Hiro. He's Asian, right? And so I called Hiro, and he's like, yeah, I'll come down and do some music. So Hiro really got into it. And he met there's these musicians, Ed Roth and some folks. I met Ed Roth through when I was a bass player in the Doors for 3 days. I played a show with them. That was amazing. And he played keyboards, so it was Robbie and John were the two original Doors members. And there were different singers going on. The Doors had a bass player, like later, they had a bass player. And so Hiro, he really got into that. He was playing jazz bass. These guys are jazz scouts, and then he started going down to southern LA, and he got like a condo. He and his wife got a condo down there, so they're into that. He just really got into like that kind of the jazz rock scene. Played with Robbie Krieger, played that kind of whole scene down there. So it was great. He was a chemical. He has a degree in chemical engineering. So he quit Soundgarden to go work at a refinery like in Anacortes. And he retired. So, and he was honored. The next year, he was honored by the Asian Hall of Fame and by the Japanese. And his award was presented by the Japanese consulate in Seattle, who referred to Hiro as Hiro-san. Yeah, Hiro-san. Yeah, so it was touching. It was really nice. Yeah, that's my Hiro story. Yes.
What's Jack and Dino up to these days?
Jack and Dino, I just texted him today. He's mixing bands, recording bands. He's like the go-to guy. So if you have a grunge band, he's got a studio in Seattle. Send him a demo, and then work out a deal with him. He's going to do some Third Secret remixes. because we're going to do some vinyl Third Secret. So he's working on that. I've made 5 records since 2017.
Whoa.
I made Giants in the Trees in 2017, Giants in the Trees Volume 2 in 2019. In 2019, I did Butterfly Launches from Sparpole, which I did the music. It's a spoken word record with Dr. Robert Michael Pyle. And then I did 2021 Third Secret, and then in 2023 second Third Secret. So 5 records. And I brought some CDs, but we have vinyl for sale too, online. On my car, I have cars.
I kind of missed it, but what was the name of the social media app that you were talking about?
HumHub.
Hum.
It's called HumHub. Yeah, check it out. It's just open source. Like you could do your own. You could if you have some tech skills, you can download it and upload it to your own server, and then say your own friends here around here, just have your own social media. You're independent, and nobody's tracking you. Nobody's selling you to advertisers. That's could be the future. So you use it with your family, and then you're not a product anymore. You're empowered because you did it yourself. You don't have to ask anybody for permission. People are complaining all the time. And then I've been out getting petitions, like we were at this parade in Waukegan County. People are like traumatized and cynical, and they don't want to deal with politics because it's so polarized, and I don't blame them. So we're just trying to do something different here. Maybe let's just make it happen. Let's try it. And so there's a thing where another perspective I have on Cascade Party is like, okay, I hope it's successful and we're working on that. But it's safe if it's not successful, but at least it's seminal, right? And you could go look through these record bins here and CDs, and you'll find bands that are seminal, that they were huge with the musical statements they made, but they weren't necessarily commercial like hits. They influenced bands that took those ideas and repackaged them and had huge commercial success, right? But those bands hold back though. They still hold that they're being a seminal band. So that's just, what does that mean? That they just made their own way. They had their own ideas, and they made things happen. That's inspiration. That's what we're chasing. We're trying to catch the comet by the tail, right? That's all you can really do. And then have as much fun as possible in the meantime, because we're not crusading. Life goes by. Time marches on. So there's no time to waste on, focus and go for it. Try to do something different and make your own way. Yes?
If you do well enough here in Washington, would you consider expanding to Oregon and Idaho?
Yes, absolutely. If you do well enough here, even now there's discussions of like some alliances. On our petition here is James Carroll. He's our vice presidential candidate because, hi James, if you, per the Constitution of the United States, the president and vice president can't be from the same state. James hails from the great state of Oregon. And he's the national chair of the Benjamin Franklin Party. So we can do some kind of alliance between Benjamin Franklin of Oregon, Party of Oregon, and Cascade Party of Washington. Maybe there's another Cascade Party in California or Northern California, or right, Alaska, or Idaho. You don't have to have the same name. It's just there'd be some kind of alliance there. And what do parties do? Parties distill the issues for people because nobody understands them all. I mean, even legislators, they're generalists. They have so many bills that go across their desks and they need to vote on. That's why there's lobbyists in Olympia and staff. That's like the institutional memory, people who really understand the scope of each individual issue. So what does a party do when you see on your ballot Democratic, and you have a general idea of what that candidate is about? It's a cue. It's like it sends a cue. Republican, you have an idea. So we want to have like, you see Cascade Party, and you can say, yeah, I would vote for Cascade Party, or you could run like hell. Like the Cascade Party you don't agree with them, then don't vote with us. Don't vote for us, because that's freedom. That's your ballot. You decide who you're going to vote for or not vote for. We're just saying, hey, these are our ideas. This is what we're about. Give us a shot. But if you don't, that's fine. That's the social contract. That's how we do voting.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your T-shirt?
Idols.
Oh,
Band
Idols.
Krist.
I went and saw them this year for the first time. They're my favorite band.
Oh, right on. Idols. I'll check them out.
Yeah.
What do you think about people in your comments wanting you as president?
Wanting me president?
Yeah.
I don't want to run for president. I don't even know if I want to run for
There's no
office. I'm really
pathway
happy
for
that
him
I'm
to get
being
there.
this being chair, and I'll probably run for chair when we have our convention in early 2025. Cascade Party, we don't have any candidates on the ballot this year. We might have candidates on the presidential ballot, but we've got to figure out how to frame that. So that's a tough one, but it's not like we're campaigning. James helped write the things that don't vote for us, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's just so confusing. The rules are just confounding, but basically the idea is to have, like, work on the party for the rest of 2024, and then in early 2025 we ratify our bylaws, we elect our officers. I'd probably run for chair, and we ratify our platform. So I like, it's doing transformational politics. It's just trying to do something different. So it's like a role that I'm happy with doing. And then I can still do music, right? I don't have to go to Olympia or go to Washington, D.C., right? I still like doing music. And so it's not crusading, like, and I certainly don't need the pomp of being a lawmaker. A lot of people you see them, they're grandstanders. They're just like, they're tweeting all the time. They're in front of a news camera, and they just like the pomp of being, yes, senator, yes, representative, this and that, right? And I'm like, I'll stand in front of you, in front of Fred Meyer, and we'll see how many people recognize me and recognize you, Mr. and Mrs. Pomp. You know, I just don't need that, right? I'll be walking through like Fred Meyer. It's like, hey, aren't you the drummer in Nirvana? And it's like, no, I'm not. Thanks, and I'll just kind of walk off and go from it. Whatever I need, whatever. And so I don't know, maybe I'd like to work with somebody though, like if they wanted to run for president in like say 2028. Got 4 years to build something. It would be like as far as national issues go, it'd be party of peace. We would advocate world peace. Peace, peace, peace. Stop getting ripped off with the armaments industry. And all that money, since 2020, just my 2000, all that money, trillions of dollars that went to armaments and all those wars. Can you imagine what we could have had here with all that money? I mean, and they don't audit the Pentagon, they don't audit any of that stuff. It stinks, but that's all I'm going to say about it. So we do a presidential ticket in 2028. It's going to be a party. You can see here too, it's like peace and freedom in Latin. So it's peace and freedom. So that's one of the things. But in the meantime, it's like just getting people involved. It's an invitation to participate, join the hub, the Cascade Party hub, and see, especially if you have an expertise and some scope of policy. Like I know a lot about election reform and elections and voting, election systems, and I know some good. I've studied campaign finance, I know that. But we've got a new member. He was in Richmond last night, and he's a geologist, and he knows a lot about the dams and tribal issues too. He knows that, so he can bring that expertise in there. There's other people with healthcare. One of our planks is transparency in medical billing. In 2019, Congress passed a law for advertised pricing, that the healthcare providers need to advertise how much a procedure or service costs. Why did they do that? Because people were tired of like $3,000 stitches or $100 Band-Aids. It's like, and they're not doing that here in Washington State, and they're getting around it. So if you ever have a chance to ask a candidate for insurance commissioner, it's an open seat, and the election's a few weeks away. What is your position on advertised pricing in healthcare? Ask them what their position is, because we want transparency, and that's a good law. They're ignoring it, and then the status quo politicians, they're letting them get away with it. That's my story. And one more question, and then I'm going to split. And I'll meet some people. No, I'll meet people.
How tall are you?
I'm 2 meters. How many centimeters is that?
200?
Yes! I'm tall enough for my feet to touch the ground. No, I'm 6'7".
Have you met a taller, famous musician?
Thurston Moore. He and I are the same height. Yeah. Thurston's like South Simon. Yeah. Imagine that. Well, I had like these cards. Let me sign something. Oh, anyway. So thanks everybody. So that this is the conclusion of the convention speech. I hope you can make it to the show tonight. It's going to be all rock and no talk. Thanks. Thanks again. Hot poop.
Hot poop!
Let me get my glass.